What's up guys, welcome to my advanced duel guide. Today we're going to go over movement, offense, and defense, everything that's important to win a duel. Timestamps will be in the description if you're looking for something specific. Enjoy. Okay, so we're going to talk about spacing, movement, and footsies. Basically, I think it is the most important part of Mordhau. It allows you to dictate the whole pace of the fight and really be in control of the engagement. So first thing you do, you look at your opponent's weapon. Okay, he's got a big ass sword, he swings. That's the danger zone. This whole red area right here, you don't want to fight in there because that means he can hit you every single time. What you want to do is you want to stay on the edge of that red zone here and going back and forth just so he thinks he's got a chance at hitting you, but really what you're doing is just baiting a hit, because when he's going to swing, since you're going back and forth like this in that zone, he's going to miss, and as he's missing, you'll know when he starts swinging. You just go back inside and punish him with a poke or a slash. I like to go with the poke. It has more range. This strategy works really well if the opponent is staying in neutral range, which means he's not too far, not too close. It works very well. Just go in like this, bob in. You might want to sprint forward a little bit. Now, it gets problematic when you've seen these guys. They rush you down, they're all up in your face like this, and they're just swinging like madmen. Don't be afraid to give him a little kick, back off, reset. It's good to know that the kick is draggable, so you don't have to get the most precise hit. Even if you're off to the side, you can still swing your mouse in either direction, and you're still going to land the kick, even if you're not centered. So that's a very good trick to know. One last thing about movements. You want to make sure that you're not just moving forward and backwards. You want to make sure that you're sidestepping. So a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. What happens is when an opponent goes in for an attack, especially a stab, it allows you to dodge the incoming hit if you're already going on the side, and as he's missing, you can get a punish with your own attack. Now, this might seem like a risky move because you're saying, well, if he only drags his stab, then he's going to catch you. Well, if you time it correctly, you're only going to chamber his poke and move forward with the hit. So you're extremely safe while doing this move. If that doesn't work, if he's got a shield, if he's rushing you down, now you'll have to learn how to fight up close. There's no escaping it, okay? We're going to go through that in the later parts of this video. In regards to the offensive side of things, we're going to start with the super basic move, okay? The feint. Feint is going to catch the average player. You're going to get him with it. But this is an advanced guide, so just keep that tool in mind. When you face someone, just give them a little feint, see how they react. If they're not moving, they're like, you can tell that they're an experienced player, because a beginner player will block. He's gonna panic block as soon as you throw a feint, and that's all you have to do against beginner players. Throw him a feint, punish. Okay, throw him another feint, punish. He's gonna block every single time. Now, if you start throwing these feints and the guy just doesn't move, he knows you're up to something. Okay, so you're gonna have to incorporate different movements to give you an edge to create offense. What I like to do when they're not moving is give him the good old Feint Spam. Okay, some of you might hate this, but it works, and we're here to win duels. So you might want to get up in their face like this and start spamming. It is taxing on the stamina, but I'd rather lose stamina than lose my head. Okay, so give him 2 or 3 feints. One, he's gonna panic. I'm gonna say 95% of players are gonna panic out of this. As soon as you start spamming some feints, looking in some weird direction, your character is gonna start making moves. He's gonna walk backwards and he's gonna panic. When you're doing this, always be ready to parry out of it, because sometimes player will panic and just attack while they're backing off. Be ready for that. Now, you want to go into more advanced techniques. Once you get the hang of that and you start landing some hits, he's going to start picking up on it. What you want to do is dragging or accelerating your attacks. To explain to you guys dragging in Accels, I've come up with this genius advanced graphic. So this 1 second time frame is the length of which your blade is in the air. Okay, when you're swinging, it's in the air, it's attacking for 1 second. Now, when you're blocking, this lasts for, let's say, 0.3 seconds. Dragging and accelerating means that you're trying to hit your enemy in this time frame or in this time frame. Okay, so you understand the concept, you're ready to go. How you do the drag, super simple. As you're giving a hit, move your camera to the left or the right, just like that. You'll catch the enemy with the end of your swing. It's gonna mess up his parry timing, you're gonna get the good hit, and that's just how you win. Okay, the longer the weapon, the slower the weapon, the longer you can drag it. So with the Zweihander, you can hold it for a while. See, I hit the character with the very end of my hit. Now the acceleration is the opposite. When you start hitting, you want to get him with the earliest part of your swing. See, the swing just started and you're already landing the attack. So it's a lot faster. And if you start mixing these up, so you're going slow hit and then into a faster hit, look how fast that came out. It's just the start of the animation. You're already on him. So you start mixing up these feints, just like that. Hit him with the drag. Okay, you're feinting, then you give him an Accel. He's gonna be all over the place and he's eventually gonna make a mistake. You're saying, Prox, the guy's got a shield, I can't hit him, the feints are not working. Watch this move right here. This is what you gotta learn. You feint into an overhead jump. The thing goes over the shield. Here's how to do it. You start an overhead attack and you wait a little bit, and as soon as it starts coming down, you drag it downwards and you jump. And what happens is the sword actually hits over the shield. You catch him in the head and you kill him. So here's another way to attack a shield user. If the guy is actually holding his shield up, if you land a kick, you will get a free stab. Now, if he's got the shield down, if you land the kick, it doesn't matter. You're still gonna be able to block the hit. So make sure that you kick them when they have the shield up, when they're actively using it. Okay, so he's got the shield down. If I land the kick, he can block it. If he's got the shield up and I land the kick, I get a free stab. Very good punish. My favorite thing to do against shield users is to actually play the stamina game. That means I'm not even going to feint, I'm not going to morph, I'm not going to do anything too fancy. I'm just going to spam your shield down until you're just done, okay? So what I'll do here in this fight, you'll see that I'm blocking and I'm swinging. I'm blocking, I'm swinging. It might take 10 to 15 hits, but at some point you'll start hearing him breathe and you know he's in trouble. So that's what happened right there. Loses both of his weapons and I finish him. You also want to keep in mind that if, okay, let's say this guy right here, he's got a shield. Your pokes are draggable. Watch this. You're actually hitting his back. So if the guy is standing right here and he's got a shield up, if you're walking to the right, just like that, you're walking to the right, you're trying to go around him, and you drag your poke, you can actually hit him in the back, and it's going to go around the shield. It works very well with parries. Just the same thing. If the guy's parrying right here, you can actually go all the way behind him and hit him in the back, just like that. Drag your pokes. So you start your poke, and you just flick your mouse to the left or the right. Look at what it does. You get a whole lot of area. Now, if all I've just said is not enough, and the guy's not falling for any hits, you might want to mix in some jumping attacks, okay? Watch this. So you jump, hit a feint, do something like that. Boom. Now, you might be saying, that looks dumb, right? That looks like, who's going to fall for this? Who's going to fall for this jumping hit? Let me show you what that looks like. It's so awkward. So awkward! Okay, now we're going to talk about defense. It all starts with the parry. You have to be extremely patient with your parries because if you do it too quickly or too late, you'll catch a blade in the face, okay? You don't want that. So you want to wait until the exact moment where he can no longer morph or feint his attack to start your parry. You know that by either learning the animations of all the weapons or hearing Turn up the volume and hear him grunt. And pay attention to the audio. Pay attention to the voice of the character. Okay? I think you heard that pretty well. So in this clip, you'll see my opponent throwing a lot of feints. He's trying to juke me. But since I'm playing with the audio up, I'm listening to his character. I'm being patient. I'm not panicking. I'm not getting hit by these attacks. A concept that's super important to understand in Mordhau is turn of attack. What I mean by that is when player 1 attacks, player 2 blocks. It is now player 2's turn to attack player 1. You get this back and forth of swinging and defense. You attack, you block, you attack, you block. The fight should not look like this. One of the two players should not be always backing up and on the defensive. If you get the feeling that you're getting spammed down, it's because you're hesitating. You're not attacking. You actually have the time to attack. You're not getting spammed down. You're just not taking your turn. So it's important that when you block, you go on the offensive. Don't keep backing up because they're going to catch you eventually with a feint or a morph, whatever. You'll get hit. Okay, now I want to talk about chambering. Chambering is pretty good if you know how to use it, but it's below average if you're just spamming it, okay, with another player going back and forth. It doesn't do much. So what you want to do is accel your chambers or drag your chambers. Here I start to drag my chambers. That allows me to mess up his chamber timing and connect with a hit. And in a duel, when you die in 2 or 3 hits, every single hit is crucial. Now in this clip, I'm gonna go into the good old chamber train. You've been there, okay? You know when you start poking, and you guys are both chambering each other. Same for the swing. What you want to do is, as soon as you start poking, you morph it into a side swing. If you're chambering a side swing, you morph it into a poke. See what happens. And these hits are very common, so you need to be on point with this. Right there, boom. So in this next clip, it's the exact same thing. We're both going back and forth with stabs. After 2 or 3, I decide to go into a morph side swing. I get the hit, and this is how you get duels. There you go back and forth a couple times, morph it, boom. Now it's good to know that even if you missed your parry, even if you miss a swing, or even if you put yourself in a bad position where you can't be blocking, there's always a last resort technique that you can use to avoid getting hit. There's actually a way to duck under attacks. If you tilt your head backwards or forward while crouching, there's a way to avoid being hit. So most players will go for the head hits. You still have an option to get away from that. Okay, so these are my settings. I've removed the head bobbing. You want to make sure that this is at 0, otherwise your screen is going to be shaking around. Your camera is going to be moving when you're moving or getting hit, so you don't want that. You want a stable screen. Mouse smoothing is turned all the way down. It allows you to be more precise with your mouse. So these are my video settings. You want to make sure that your field of view is above 80 and maybe up to like 95. Don't want to go too high, don't want to go too low. That's the sweet spot right here. If you go too low, your screen is going to be narrower, and that's bad. Okay, you're going to be missing out on action happening on the side of your screen. You don't want that. Next up, you got the bloom and the motion blur. Make sure that this is all the way at 0. This is the worst setting you can play with. What happens is when you start moving your screen, it gets blurry. Okay, that is very bad. Character cloth, if you put that at 0, it helps a lot with the FPS. Pretty good. In regards to the audio, you want to make sure that it's pretty high because that gives you information on your opponent, especially in duels. You're going to be able to hear him breathe and grunt while he's swinging. So that gives you a lot of information that you don't want to miss out on. In regards to my controls, the only thing I've changed is angle attack after press. You want to make sure that this is unchecked because what that does is slow down the attack. If you look at my inputs on the bottom left, you'll see that if I click, it doesn't attack. It only swings when I move my mouse. So that only adds a delay that you don't want. In regards to the key bindings, the only thing I've changed is my stab. Instead of being mouse wheel up, it is thumb mouse button. That allows me to have my finger on my stab button at all time instead of having to lift my index. It's a lot faster and it's just more natural to me. This right here is my favorite build to use in duel. I love this Vihander. It does a lot of damage. The drags are super strong. The reach is incredible. I like to have 2 head armor, at least 3 for the chests. It allows me to be kind of mobile, but still give me good armor. I feel like most players don't go for the legs, so I don't feel like I need the leg armor. I like to use Acrobat because it's the only thing that helps me fight. You might go Tenacious if you want to like back off and regen, but that's not really honorable. Most people will chase you down anyway. So I feel like it's the only perk in here that really helps me. If you're not a fan of Acrobat, you don't jump, don't be afraid to just remove that point. Put that point into the leg armor level 1. That's going to give you a little bit more tankiness and you're not wasting the point on a perk that you're not using. So the second build I like to use is my longsword dodge build. The longsword has good swings and good stabs, pretty good reach, good all-around weapon. The dodge allows me to stay mobile while still using level 3 helmet armor and level 3 chest armor, so I can take a couple hits, but I can still move around pretty well with the dodge build. I have 1 point left. I like to use Acrobat just because it allows me to jump and do stupid shit. That's very good. Well, there you go, guys. That's it for my advanced dueling guide. I hope you learned a thing or two, and have a great day. I'll meet you guys on the battlefield.